There are many casualties in the war on drugs. One example is that 70% of women in correctional systems of Massachusetts have faced some sort of physical or sexual abuse in their lifetime. My guest today, Susan Surred, is a professor of sociology at Suffolk University and co-author of the book Can't Catch a Break. She and her colleague document the daily lives of a group of women caught in this vicious cycle. Thank you so much for joining us.
And thank you for having me.
Most definitely. In the introduction of your book, you posed a question: have prisons become the way that America deals with human suffering? Why did you pose such a question?
First of all, the rates of incarceration are incredibly high in the United States. They're higher than any other country in the world and substantially higher than in any other country in the world. But when we look at the people who are incarcerated, and my interest is particularly in women, almost everybody has lived a life filled with enormous amounts of horrible things, enormous amounts of suffering. So for example, we often read in the newspapers and hear on the radios that a large percentage of the incarcerated population has mental health challenges. And equally large has physical health challenges. A third of the women that I came to know were diagnosed with learning disabilities when they were in elementary school. At least 70%, and some estimates are as high as 90% of women caught in the correctional system have been abused, have been beaten up, have been raped in the past. And very high numbers of men caught in the correctional system have been abused as children, have suffered a wide variety of horrible things in their lives: poverty, homelessness. So yeah, I mean, I don't see that we have other social institutions that are stepping in and addressing suffering.
How does the society, they get turned away from the society because of their criminal history, the record that they hold. What should the society or the individual do to demolish that stigma?
Well, there's very little that the individual can do. And the evidence that I could give for that is that of the women who began our project, there are only 2 who have been stably housed and stably employed for the whole 5 years that we followed them. So the other women all tried various things, but there was really almost no success. So it's on the societal level, not the individual level. I think we absolutely have to abolish any kind of restrictions around hiring people who have criminal records. The numbers are so enormous after a couple of decades of mass incarceration that we're moving towards a situation where we have a huge underclass of people who are just not employable, however much they want to get a job.
Great. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Professor Surred, for bringing light to a subject that we know too little about. I hope that this is a first step toward addressing this troubling issue. On behalf of Professor Susan Surred, for Arlington Public News, I'm Akriti Jagmohan. Thank you for joining us.